Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Maeriel, and today's Story and Doodle video covers a friend that is small in size but not in personality, and her name is Lelani. Lelani is a gnome that grew up kind of secluded in the forest with her parents until both of them went missing. She didn't have much when she left to try and find them, and she bounced around from a couple of different guilds, learning whatever she could about wizardry and a bit of cooking on the side. This was up until she ran into our party and joined the Heart Scales officially as a member. She was 18 years old at the start of our campaign, but during the same run-in with a ghost where Tyson, our half-orc friend, aged 20 years, Lelani was also scared to the point of aging 30 years. This makes her 48 years old, and in the lifespan of gnomes, she's still considered a young adult due to them living up to 500 years. If you asked me to describe Lelani in a few words, one of the words that I would use is Spitfire. That's because she is a Spitfire. I don't know how else to say it. If you saw my video about Arme and remember when I spoke about how some of the members in our party were super suspicious of other people, Lelani is one of those members. She trusts pretty much no one, including the members of our party sometimes. As mentioned earlier, Lelani studied cooking during her travels. And even though she studied cooking and she had all the tools to do it, she never really learned anything. At one point, she was so hungry and desperate for food, she actually went into an old lady's house to get something to eat. Lelani, who didn't trust anyone, willingly went into this lady's house for food. She ended up having tea and snacks with her, and then spent the next couple of hours convincing this nice old lady to give her enough food to share with the rest of us. A little while after that, our party had a quest that would require us to travel by boat for 5 days. We made friends with the captain at the docks, and if you're wondering if Lelani was suspicious of him, yes she was. This captain ran a trade ship though, and he was heading in the direction that we needed to go, so we were able to hitch a ride with him and his crew. During our time on the ship, the entire party decided to help the crew out with chores and fishing and other stuff like that. Lelani specifically decided to help the cook with cooking. And after 10 days total of training with the cook, Lelani learned quite a bit, and she's a pretty good chef herself now. Now, at one point in our travels, we attended a magical night circus, and I'm going to be talking about other members of the party as well for this section because there were a lot of fun shenanigans we got up to, but the main thing that happens at this circus involves Lelani. There were carnival games and shops set up that would all be gone without a trace the next day. There was a high striker game there, and it's the one where you use a hammer to try and ring a bell in case you're not familiar with the name. And we sat by and we watched a couple of guys try to ring it, and none of them could get very much success. I think even Tyson and Atlas, our party's dragonborn, tried, but they couldn't get it to ring either. Then up walks Arme, a 5-foot-something little half-elf lady, and she just goes up there, wants to give it a try, and when she struck the thing to ring the bell, it rang out across the entire carnival, the loudest that anyone had heard it that night, and it was a very funny thing to witness. Before the show started, Arme and her sister Amanda were approached by an older lady who reached for their hands, claiming to read their palms. In one swift moment, she stuck the girls' palms together and ran off cackling. The sisters only realized something had happened when they couldn't pull their hands apart. In her panic, Amanda, who is a moon druid by the way, that just means that she can shapeshift, she transforms herself into a rat, thinking that would somehow make them no longer stuck together, and it didn't help. Now she was just a rat stuck to her sister's hand. As you can imagine, this just made Arme freak out even more, and to be honest with you, I don't remember how they got unstuck, but I do know that they weren't even stuck together very long. It was just a very funny situation. During all of this, Lelani was wandering around looking at the shops. She was mostly window shopping because almost all of the items were way out of her price range. But she came across a tent that was smaller than all of the others. It was actually the perfect size for her specifically. and she quickly found out why when she went in. A fellow gnome was parked behind the counter and his eyes lit up at the sight of her. He shook her hand excitedly and rambled on about how few gnomes he had seen that evening and how he had something he only offered to gnomes if she wanted to see it. Lelani, the lover of all things magical and powerful she was, said yes, and he ducked behind a curtain before hauling something heavy out. With a grunt, the other gnome placed a large red thing on the counter. I call it the gnome rocket. It's only for gnomes, and since you're such a lovely young lady, I'll even offer you a discount if you want it. Of course she wanted it. Why wouldn't she? The only problem was that it was way too big for her to carry. So she called in Tyson, who had to duck quite a bit inside the tent, and he carried it for her. After all of this, we went into the largest tent in the field and enjoyed an incredible show. This may not surprise you, but yes, Lelani was super suspicious of the tiefling ringmaster. Lelani held onto that gnome rocket for a long time, waiting for the right moment to use it. And that moment happened not too long ago for us. We were investigating the disappearances of several fishermen, and everything led us to a drain by the shore that led into the sewer system. Our party borrowed a tiny boat, and we were down by the sewage drain when Lelani had the awesome idea to cast an alarm spell on the opening so that she would know whenever the beast came out. So there we were, parallel to the entrance, with our tiny friend sitting front and center, casting the alarm spell when the unthinkable happened. We looked up to see the beast charging at us from inside the drain. One of its heads attacked Lelani, knocking her out cold. The other 6 were hissing and snapping at the rest of us. During the fight, our May had managed to wake Lelani up long enough for the gnome to look at Tyson and nod before being hit again by the Hydra. Tyson pulled out the gnome rocket and managed to light its fuse while holding it under his arm, pointed at the beast. The rocket flew toward the Hydra with a hiss and exploded, immediately killing it, with the sound of the explosion echoing across the water. Another one of the honorable Lelani moments is definitely the time that she took out 6 gnolls, or hyena-like humanoid creatures, with her fireball spell. She also managed to engulf an entire tree with the flames, and it was very cool in my opinion. Lelani is such a cool little wizard lady, and I'm so glad that I got to draw her and tell you guys about some of my favorite moments with her in the game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out the others in this series if you did. Our party is coming along quite nicely, and I can't believe that we only have 2 of the original members left. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Maeriel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!